Good morning, happy Bowtie Friday. Today I'm looking at Scaffold-Eth. So Scaffold-Eth is a repo that I have that is for quick product iterations and tinkering. So if you're interested in tinkering with Ethereum or building a dApp, this is a cool place to start. So I'm going to just get the clone started. So I'm going to clone the repo down to my new dApp or rad new dApp. Okay, and I'm going to cd into rad new dApp. And I'm going to start the installation process. So this may not work perfectly for you on a different machine. Remember, you'll need Node.js, whether you have Windows or Mac. You'll need Git, Windows or Mac, and you'll need Yarn, Windows or Mac. I've ran through this a couple times on both Mac and Windows, and those three things at those versions seem to work pretty well. So while this thing is installing, let's go ahead and bring up our favorite code editor and just look at the file system. So there's three packages. You'll have Bidler, contracts, and your React app. So the Bidler contracts folder is where all your main contracts are stored, and this is something you want to pay close attention to. All right, so our smart contract is located right there, and then our app is located right here, and let's go get that started. So that's the next thing on the list, is to do a yarn start, and that's going to bring up our React development server, and that is powered by this app.js here, and also this smart contract wallet.js here. Rad. Okay, so lots of links here if you want to go read more about how everything gets started, but basically we're going to bring up our own development server, we're going to bring up our own blockchain, and we're going to be able to edit our smart contract live over here, and we're going to be able to see it reload in our app. And that's the key to Scaffold-Eth, is just getting this like hackathon stack up and running quickly and be able to iterate on prototypes and figure out if maybe this idea is a good idea or not, and just kind of like poke at stuff on chain. Okay, here comes our app, and it is up, and it tells us that we've got the first two things taken care of. We've done a yarn start, but I don't have a yarn run chain yet, so we'll do that next thing. Yarn run chain brings up the Bidler EVM. You could do yarn run node also, but it basically starts our local blockchain. And now if we reload this, it should check that off the list. It should detect that we have, we'll see down here in the bottom right, yep, our providers, and it's on block 0, and it's up. So the next thing we need to do, so we'll create another terminal. So we've got our first terminal is our app, our second terminal is our chain, third terminal, we'll go to rad new dApp, and we will do a yarn run deploy. Actually, let's do a yarn run compile just to show that they're separate. So I can compile my contract with yarn run compile, and it's going to download the compiler and get everything ready and compile to artifacts, to my artifacts, but that stays in Bidler. If I do a yarn run deploy, if I could spell it, woo-wee, that's going to do the compile, but it's also going to deploy our artifacts. It's going to do the compile, it's going to deploy our contract, our bytecode, to our test chain, but it's also going to publish our artifacts into our front end. Look at that, look at that, look at that. Okay, so now we've got our smart contract wallet, and it's deployed here, and we see that there. And if we go look at this, it says fix the spelling error. Okay, let's go fix the spelling error. Smart contract wallet, and I'm going to hit save, and we'll go back over here and do a yarn run deploy, and compiling Solidity, deploying bytecode, publishing artifacts, and then our front end reloads with a new contract that's correctly spelled. Okay, let's do one other thing. Let's do yarn run watch. I'm just going to have that thing on autopilot, so anytime I go over here and change this, let's add some force to it, some exclamation. Then it's going to detect that my smart contract changed. It's going to run through the full gamut of pushing it out to my app, and we should see a hot reload here in a second once everything is done with our new contract with exclamation points. All right, here we go. What's next on the list? We need to send some test ether to our address. Okay, so our address is this account up here, and it's a it's a burner address, right? If you just land on this, you're going to get a new address, right? If I open up another one, I'm going to get another address, right? So let's just copy that burner address and let's paste it into our faucet down here below. And a transaction is sent, and it's going to send us like 0.01 test ether. If we click this, we can see, yep, 0.01, which comes out to 207 today if you're a follower of the price. Okay, now, what's next? Deposit funds. Okay, here we go. Deposit. Look at that. I'm depositing funds into my smart contract. And that works because we have a payable fallback function. And we can also see, oh what? If I hit deposit over here, look at this. A console log from our blockchain telling us that A0DE, this homie right here, just deposited some funds. What? A console log? That is rad. Okay, cool. Now let's set the owner of our contract to our address. We'll go right over here. We'll hit the edit button. We'll hit enter, fire a transaction. Now we're the owner. Wait, what? Okay, so now that's when the tutorial gets a little wild and it says, yikes, anyone can take ownership of your contract. That's when you'll probably want to come back here and start looking at your code and figuring out your Solidity. And there's a lot of great links here to the repo, to the Ethereum docs, to Solidity docs, to Bithler docs. At me, bro, anytime, hit me up. If you want to see what this looks like with our MetaMask, let's see. There we go. So I can log in as me also. Just remember, check that network. That network needs to be on localhost, and you'll see that change down here. Awesome. Cool. Check it out. Bang on it. Play around with it. Thanks for coming along. Check out Scaffold-Eth. Give me lots of feedback. What we want is for lots of external developers to come see this and say, ooh, I want to build something cool on Ethereum. Awesome. Let's do that. Happy Bowtie Friday. Thank you. Scaffold-Eth. Check it out.